Welcome to Breath of Fresh Air, the podcast bringing fresh insight and real talk to the world of dental practice management. Your hosts, Amanda Demora and Sarah Hamlin, are two industry insiders who've seen it all from the front desk to the C-suite. Amanda, the founder of Essential Dental Services, now Daydream Dental, is an operations consultant, business coach, and practice management expert. Sarah, former COO of Essential Dental Services, continues her leadership journey as the COO of Daydream Dental, a cutting-edge dental billing company. Together, they deliver unfiltered conversations on dental office operations, leadership, revenue cycle management, team dynamics, strategy, industry trends, and more. Designed for practice managers, dentists, assistants, and front office professionals, this podcast is the ultimate resource for anyone looking to optimize and elevate their dental practice. Take a deep breath, because Breath of Fresh Air is here to shake things up and help dental teams build smarter, smoother, and more successful practices.
Are you a dental professional tired of complicated contracts and hidden fees when you're ordering supplies? At Frontier Dental, they're making things simple.
With over 40,000 products from over 80 trusted brands, you'll always find your favorite products without the hassle. No contracts, no minimums, always free shipping. Plus, their team is made up of former dental hygienists and assistants, so they truly understand the needs of your practice.
Are you ready to simplify your supply ordering? Use promo code FDBOFA at checkout and get $20 off your first order.
Visit frontierdental.com to shop now and experience a better way to buy dental supplies.
Now, let's dive into today's episode.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Breath of Fresh Air podcast. I'm Amanda Demora.
And I'm Sarah Hamlin.
And today we have a very special guest. This has been in the making for months. And her name is Jaclyn Nona. She is the woman behind Clever Dental Co., which is a creative and educational platform for dental marketing, kind of focusing on dental practices, bringing their marketing in-house, which is really exciting for me to see. I kind of haven't seen anyone else do this, so I cannot wait to get her on the podcast and pick her brain about this. So welcome to the podcast, Jaclyn.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited that we could all finally get together. I've been waiting and eager to be on your show. I can't wait.
Yes, before we started recording, we were just talking about family life and crazy busyness and everything. So I'm really glad it all worked out too.
Me
Right.
too.
When we have guests on, I will reach out to Sarah and be like, how does this date 2 months down the road sound for you?
We just did staff pictures for our home office. We have 5 doctors aligning all of their schedules. When I say I planned it in February and we took the pictures in August, every year is like that.
Oh, this is like our office Christmas party that we booked, our holiday party.
Seriously.
It's like I have to book that in July. And then even then, I just have to bank on people not being able to go because that's just the way it works.
The
holidays you can only do your best.
Yeah, and the holidays are a crazy time. Everybody is trying to book everything in the holidays. It's impossible to get everyone together.
Yeah, in like a 2-week time span. It's a nightmare.
Yes, people have enough going on.
But it's the best nightmare time. I'm just going to say I'm getting very excited.
It is Sarah's favorite time of year.
The burn months are superior, for sure.
Agreed. I was actually just telling my kids about that little tidbit today. I said, any month that ends in burr, you have to wear a coat. So I was trying to get that to happen, which was still a fight and didn't quite work. But I'm going to keep pushing that logic and see if I can get it to stick.
They're so special. I love fall and I love Christmas. So they're 2 good seasons.
I do too. After Christmas, I think I'm kind of over the snow situation, but up until that point, I'm all about it. I love a good snowstorm, especially like a nor'easter where I'm snowed in for days. I don't know that I'll be saying that this year if I want to be trapped inside with like an infant and toddler, but...
Ooh, it's a lot. I've been there.
Okay. All right. So, Jaclyn, we want to hear a little bit about you, about your background in dentistry. I always love hearing about people's background because no 2 people have been the same that I have come across. So tell us about that.
Well, what I can tell you is that it was a complete accident. So dentistry was never the plan for me. I actually studied human communication, journalism, and marketing in college. And then my ambition was to end up maybe in like a publishing house or an editor in a big city. And I met and married my husband, and he was a Marine. So we went out to 29 Palms, California, which I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's straight desert. It's just a military base and nothing else. Certainly no
And some sand.
publishing houses, right? Nothing like that. So I needed a job, and the only places hiring around were a hotel night shift, a McDonald's, and a dental office. So I picked the dental office.
I can see why.
I didn't want to be overnight at a hotel or at McDonald's in my mid-20s. And yeah, I fell in love with dentistry. I worked there for about 1.5 years before we moved back to Northwest Indiana. And then my trajectory through dental took all the stops you can: scheduling, treatment coordinator, insurance, billing, financial coordinator. I was the front desk lead for a couple years. And then I kept slowly parsing in pieces of marketing into our practice, like, hey, let's start a Facebook page. Ooh, let's start an Instagram. How do you guys feel about a YouTube channel? And that evolved and evolved and evolved, and we grew. And then about 1 year ago, so we've been working together for about a decade, our two owners, my practice manager and myself. And about 1 year ago, I said, hear me out. I think that we have a really great internal system here in our office for marketing. I don't see any other offices in our area or region that are doing anything similar. And I think that we could create a program to teach other offices how to build their marketing in-house and stop either A, not doing it, or B, relying on an expensive agency. And they liked the idea. They invested in it and invested in me, and Clever Dental Co. was born. Here we are.
I think this is such a special story because your practice owners believed in you so much to invest in you and really encourage you to do this and be part of it too. It's something you don't often see.
They're incredible people. And my office manager was a hygienist, and she's the practice manager now, but she's been at our same home office for 40 years. She worked for Dr. Weber, David Weber. He's our owner now. She worked for his dad, and he took over the practice about 12 years ago. So these guys are young. They know how important social media and ground marketing have been to our practice. They want me to succeed. They want our practice to succeed. And they came right on board, co-founding with me and helping me figure it out. You know, I've never owned a business before, but they helped me through all that, and it's been quite a year.
Yeah. I only laughed earlier when you said that it was special, Amanda, too, because that was literally right on the tip of my tongue to say the exact same thing. I was like, wow, what a special and unique launch into this situation that you have. And it's, really cool and very special is the right word.
It is a privilege to be able to go to them and say, I have an idea, I can be the creative part of this, but I don't have the funding for this. Mm-hmm. I have a great idea, but I don't know how to get it off the ground. Mm-hmm. And for 3 people that believe in me and believe in the idea to go, okay, well, we'll chip in and we'll get it off the ground together. It's really special.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Rare. I want to say rare.
Yes.
I have not ever gone to my doctors for funding or backing, but I didn't need to. They were always very, very supportive of what I was doing as quote unquote side hustles and continue to be very supportive of me now. So I've experienced that in a sense, but I don't often hear about others who have been in similar situations. Mm-hmm. Rarely, but yeah, it is really, really special. It's just refreshing to hear and see.
I mean, luckily, growth is one of our core values at the practice. So they're really invested in kind of elevating dentistry and how can you grow and get continuing education and use the latest technology and really be the best doctor and provider and owner that you can be. And this kind of felt like part of that. They were willing to grow in a different direction, and it's been a fun journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually,
Right, so
I was thinking most people that I talk to in your situation, like thinking of starting their own company, are actually kind of in the opposite situation, right? Like they're like, oh, I don't really like my full-time job. I'm ready to do something different. I want, fulfillment in a different way. So it seems like most of the time you hear people being motivated by not very supportive current bosses. So it is like a really awesome thing to hear of it being the opposite.
And it's so risky. I really don't think, for my personality, specifically speaking for myself, I'm very type A. I really like to have security and plans and organization. And I'm not that free spirit that could quit my job and empty my bank account and start something from scratch. I admire that, but that's
Same.
not
I
who
know
am.
somebody like that.
Yeah, same.
Right. I know somebody exactly like that. Sarah.
So it's very nice to have kind of, I can still work my full-time job and do this, and there's some security while this gets off the ground. I don't know that I would have been brave enough to do it otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to have partners in crime.
Yes, it can be scary, definitely. I admire it, but it's not me.
All right. So I want to hear a little bit about what exactly Clever Dental offers and how you're different from a marketing agency, because you're not a marketing agency really at all.
No. As far as I know, I haven't seen anyone do exactly what we do. Obviously, there are a lot of great marketing companies in the dental sphere.
And a lot of not great ones as well. I want to point that out.
Yes, I won't say that, but you can.
Yes.
I find that either the company is focused on solely like website design and SEO and Google Ads, which is great, and I'm not knocking that, you need that. Or if they do step into social media, it's like, we'll take your practice on and we'll create content for you, but they're creating content for 300, 400 other offices, and they're giving the same content to each one of those offices. So, you're not standing out. You've all seen it, the cartoon tooth or whatever. It's not authentic, right? It's not you.
Yep.
So we figured every practice basically has 3 choices when it comes to marketing, which is a lot social media, but not all of social media. Either you do nothing, which I don't agree as a choice, but it is a choice. People will decide to not get out in their community. They don't need an Instagram practice. People have said, like, I don't need to be on Instagram because everybody needs a dentist. Which, yeah, but what's setting you apart from the dentist down the street? So choice 1, do nothing. Choice 2 would be to outsource it. So again, you're giving all those content choices to an agency that is 2,000 miles away. They don't really know you. Really, you're renting your marketing. And then option 3 is doing it in-house. Have a staff member control your social media profiles. You have someone on your team that can go out into the community, whether it's health fairs, coat drives. We just did a campaign where we took a bunch of lunches to all the teachers in our district. So someone in-house taking care of those responsibilities. But we realized that there is really no training that exists for that option. Everyone is kind of learning on their own or hoping that their dental assistant knows what they're doing on TikTok. Which, yeah, maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. So our whole platform, we have right now 22 live courses. We'll probably end up with about 30. But when you take a course, for instance, let's say the course on community engagement, you have a guidebook or an ebook that's about 30 pages long. You can keep that, download that. You take the course that goes with the book, At the end of it, you take a quiz, make sure you know the material. You get a certification you get to take to your doctor, which makes the employee feel good and empowered. And then it also has all these downloads that are like content prompts, monthly planners, yearly planners, daily planners, all the material and supplements that we could think of to give you to help you succeed are right there built into the website. So it's definitely the teach a man to fish approach. We don't want to pretend that we know your team or your doctors or your vibe. We don't want to do the marketing for you. We want you to learn how to do it and be self-sufficient.
So no like templates for posts and stuff coming from you guys then. You're like encouraging people to figure out how to make their own templates that fit their office and what they need.
Kind of. There are like examples
Sure.
and prompts. And then I have one of our whole guidebooks is about like how to use Canva and CapCut. So it talks you through like this is how you could create branded material with your colors and your logo, but we don't release like plug and play generic templates. We don't want it to look like what everyone else is doing.
Awesome. Yeah. I think you came to the right place if you want to talk about Canva, because
Yes, you did.
Amanda and I are both a little bit obsessed with Canva,
Yes.
but I can totally understand how it is so overwhelming if you don't have the time to kind of like sit around and poke around and start like, dipping your toe in.
Sure.
I used to really use, I don't know if either of you guys ever used it, but Microsoft Publisher. Did either of you ever use Publisher way back in the day?
Yes, back in the day, back in college, I
Yes.
definitely did.
I feel like that was like early Canva. It was like when you're making newsletters or doing a flyer, whatever, it was the same kind of like vibe. And I really enjoyed using Publisher. So then when Canva came out, I was like, this is like Publisher times 10, Publisher on steroids and for the current century. And so I was able to just kind of jump right into it. But other people who I have told about it or encouraged to get on it are just so overwhelmed, which I completely understand. So I think it's awesome that you're, like you said, teaching them how to use these resources and find their own way through instead of just handing them the format. Because there's plenty of places where they can just get the templates if they want that. But this is obviously a different approach.
Well, I mean, Canva in itself has 1,000 templates.
Yes.
If you type in
Yes.
like coat drive, it's like, all right, here's 80 templates and you can customize them to your color and your font and paste your logo on there. And it's so affordable. I mean, $14.99, I think right now is
Yeah.
the
Yes.
pro subscription for a
Yeah.
month. Every office should have access to this. And even if your front desk person has 2 hours a week to work on marketing, they can pop on Canva and create 3 awesome social media posts for you that week. And it's so much less than an outside agency. Some of these agencies are like $3,000 a month. And honestly, they're probably on Canva.
Yeah.
Oh,
know,
they
it's like-
absolutely are on
Uh-huh.
Canva.
Yeah. It's what's the difference?
Right.
Yeah.
See, I'm of opposite mindset. When people are telling me that they're overwhelmed by Canva or like they're not using it, or I'm like, do you have your brand kit set up in Canva? And they don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just like, what is going on here? How are you getting by? Or how are you running a company or whatever and not
Yes.
knowing how to make anything in there? What are you using?
Yeah.
I
So
think I
that's
learned
this whole guidebook is like, what is your brand kit? Well, let's find out. How do you put your
Okay.
colors in there? I'll show you.
Yeah.
Okay, I like
What
that.
about-
And do you do videos or just like is that like a PDF type of guide?
Both. There is
Okay.
a whole course on short form video marketing. I wanted to call it the TikTok manual, but in the last year, TikTok has been like taken
Unstable.
away and then
Yeah.
given back and then maybe taken away again.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, okay, we'll call it the short form video marketing, but it's TikTok. TikTok or Reels or YouTube Shorts or whatever.
Right.
Okay.
I was
Now,
gonna
Jaclyn,
say,
do your kids think that you're like super hip because you know this stuff, or
No, they don't. First of all, 2 of them are so young. My 8-year-old we had parent teacher conferences and he's like, my mom's a dentist. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
that's
Please
funny?
Don't tell your teachers I'm a dentist.
We at Daydream for Mother's Day did a little thing where they were challenging all the team members to ask their kids what they thought mom did. And a lot of it, and these were all mostly dental billers, were like, my mom is a dentist. So same boat, same boat.
Yep.
Yeah. No, they do think now we have a YouTube channel for Clever Dental Co. And since I'm the face of it, a lot of the videos are me talking or, short or whatever. My son does think it's cool that he can get on YouTube and see mom. But other than that, there's no understanding of what we're doing. I'm still a dentist to him, I think.
Fair.
Right. Very fair. All right. So let's see.
I was going to ask one thing really quickly is how do you guys offer any resources or like guides for offices who maybe when we're talking about like a brand kit and colors, like I don't know if you guys encounter offices like this. I know I have seen some who barely have a logo, most certainly do not have brand colors, a brand kit, like anything like that. Do you have resources and guides for people to take it even like a step further back in the process of like, this is how you might, establish the font you want to use and those kinds of things?
Yes, I have. Actually, the very first course I ever did is called How to Elevate Your Brand Design. Because for the same reason, I thought I'm creating these courses probably 20 steps ahead of where an office is. So let me roll back. There's one course that is exactly that. Like, how do you fine tune your logo? How do you pick your colors? What's the psychology of colors that you might want to use in your office? Do you bring it into the paint and the interior and everything else? And then there's another guide that is just equipment and digital resources. So, you can film fine off of your smartphone. If you want to be a little bit more sophisticated, this is the camera I recommend. This is the ring light that I would get. And like how they could set them up for success inside their office if they wanted to take that route.
Amazing. I love that.
Thank you.
Right off the bat, I'm just thinking, this is way more in depth than I was really thinking. I don't know what I was envisioning, but this is great. I agree. Most offices, if you ask them about a brand kit or what their brand colors were, they would not have an answer for that because they don't have one.
Well, and I think that our company is new, and I think there can be a little bit of a misconception that like all we do is social media. But I also have courses on, brand design and then like ground marketing and patient appreciation and print advertising and how to Google reviews. How do you get them? How do you respond to them? So it's really all facets of internal marketing. Social media is a big part of that, but there's plenty of education for like, how do I know my analytics? How do I know what's working? We have one that's practice narrative. Do you have a mission and a vision? Do you have core values? What is that? How do you make them? So it does dig in a little bit deeper to your full brand and not just your Instagram.
I love that. I just have to interject this funny story. It made me think of early on in Amanda and I's friendship and more professional relationship. I was like working with her and I asked her if she could send me the color codes for EDS.
I was thinking of this story too.
I remember Amanda responding and be like, oh my God, I think I love you because I knew what the color codes were. And she was like, nobody knows what this is. I can't believe you know what the color codes are and how to use them. Oh, that was so funny.
You know what a hex code is?
Yeah.
That's
gonna
exactly
be
what I was
blue?
gonna say.
Oh my
She
God.
was like, okay, could I have the brand hex codes? And I was like, I was just mind blown. Totally mind blown. I'm like, okay, this person is a very, very, very good fit.
You're my soulmate.
Exactly. Yes. That was so funny. That was making me think that.
So, and then, it does also get a little bit niche because practices are different, right? A pediatric practice or an orthodontist might need something different than a general doctor. So it also dives into campaigns like, how do you market your new dental associate instead of just bringing someone on and freaking out all your patients that are meeting a new doctor? Or
for sure.
If you're an orthodontist, how do you approach all these general practices and try to get referrals? So it really does go in a lot of directions that I don't know if people realize.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely for specialty. And when I think of just like my area around me and the practices that we refer to, specifically ortho, we have one ortho office who is just crushing it with the marketing. And it's all, to my knowledge, most of it is internal. They do a lot of reels and videos of their kind of like day to day in the office with patients. They do so much for the community. They recently had like a couple, the most senior doctor is probably in his mid 60s. So a couple of his nephews now have come in as orthodontists, and they are totally attacking. They go to general offices and put on CE at like lunch or after, that are really kind of a lot catered towards like hygiene, how to spot orthodontic issues at a young age and things like that. So they just do so much creative stuff, and it is working. I can attest to that. But yeah, specialty offices, I definitely need to think about it a little bit more outside the box than general offices.
I think that specialty offices may already be doing half of this internal marketing and not realizing it. They could maybe just improve.
Yeah.
But think of like, if you're in a general office, how often are you getting gift baskets with referral slips from oral surgeons, or someone's coming from the orthodontist or the periodontist or whatever? But they have to have someone on their team who is driving around to all these offices in the area, getting the donuts or cookies or gift baskets and saying, please think of us when someone needs their wisdom teeth out. Like, they're already halfway there. Maybe if they just want to put their design on it or they want to improve it, that's where we would come in.
How do you recommend offices handle marketing as far as like, who do you assign this to in the office? Like, do you have suggestions for that? Like, is it always the 18-year-old because they can handle the whatever, you know? It's like, that's where I think offices usually go, is exactly like you said earlier, was like, oh, this younger employee should be savvy on social media, so I'm going to see if they want to make videos for us, and we'll have them do it along with their other duties. And obviously that is not the most effective way to make this happen. So how do you usually recommend offices handle that?
Okay, we're going to take a quick break from today's convo, but don't skip this part because we want to talk about something that's actually made a huge difference, especially in my practice's bottom line, and that is supply ordering.
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, I remember you telling me this story. You were saving a ton of money. And who were you guys using again?
We switched to Frontier Dental about a year ago. I have been loving ordering from them. Their website is super fun. Each product has 360-degree views of products, which doesn't sound like a big deal, right? But when you're trying to figure out that exact pointy, extra fine burr that your doctor wants to order, or some obscure dental instrument that you've never heard of, you want to make sure that you're actually ordering the right thing.
Yes.
So I've been loving that feature.
In those instances, the 2D magazine picture that's, hand drawn by somebody else does not cut it when you need to find that specific burr. And I have obviously been there in my offices too, where we've ordered the wrong thing because of that catalog. And then you have to do the whole return shuffle, wait for your rep to come, pick it up. Maybe you'll be able to exchange it. Maybe you won't. It's just such a headache.
Right. And the pricing is the best that I have found, honestly. So that makes me keep coming back. But besides that, we've now gotten to know their team, and their culture is just awesome. They actually care about their employees and also their customers ordering from them. And it's hard to find a vendor that can combine great prices and support like that. They're constantly reaching out to make sure that our office doesn't need anything or that everything went well. And I've just been super happy. And it's unlike any supply company that I've ordered from before.
I love it because honestly, like with a lot of these supply reps and stuff, they stop by the office and everybody knows them and everybody just feels like they're there to upsell you on stuff, which they sometimes are. But in this case, it sounds like Frontier's really there to support your practice more than anything. And I love to hear that.
Exactly. So if any of our listeners are still ordering from the same old vendor and you haven't done a price check against another company in a long time, please check out Frontier. This is your sign to do it. Their website is awesome. And when we reached out to them to ask if they could offer our listeners a discount, they agreed.
Yay!
So by using the promo code FDBOFA, we'll have that in our show notes. You can get a discount off your first order. Back to the episode.
Well, first of all, I would hate to sound reverse ageist here, but I don't think I would trust the 19-year-old with it. It does depend on the size of your office, right? When I started doing this, I was front desk and I have the computer. I'm sitting at the computer all day. I'm not in a clinical position. So between patients, I do have the opportunity to post that our team went out to lunch or whatever. If you're a smaller office, I think this could be handled by a member of your front desk, taking a couple hours a week to maybe pull through the course material and start to implement this. As we evolved, it got to be too much for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was running all the platforms. I was also doing ground marketing. We were trying to get like a billboard campaign going. And at that point, our doctors made the decision of like, okay, you are away from the front desk now. All you do all the time is our internal marketing. That's great. That's not realistic for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you have a rural practice that is 1 doctor and 2 hygiene, I'm not expecting you to hire a marketing manager and give them a full salary.
Mm-hmm.
But it is something that your front desk can do. I would have 1 person handling it, and I would want this person to be old enough and wise enough that if someone makes a Google review that's outlandish, right? They kicked me out for no reason, but there's a lot of reasons and they didn't pay their bill or whatever. This person needs to be mature enough to know how to respond in a way that doesn't violate HIPAA and doesn't tick the doctor off.
Mm-hmm.
But your 2 very young dental assistants that are right out of high school, utilize them for fun TikToks and Reels. Use them once a week. But I would put a more mature person in charge of the day-to-day and community things that need to be handled a little bit wiser.
Sure.
So in terms of like capturing content, a few different people could be snapping and filming some random things throughout the work week. But really 1 person should be responsible for getting this posted, making sure that content is like okay.
So for example, like in our office, I can walk around our operatories. I can take behind the scenes pictures. I've done this for enough years that I know not to take a picture of the patient's face. I have to get their consent, whatever. But we have 10 or 15 willing and active staff members that I can grab an assistant and say, I would like to do a video of you this week. I would like you to talk about what kind of comfort options we have for patients. I want you to talk about we can give you headphones or a blanket or a pillow, whatever. Just kind of mention what you do as an assistant to make patients comfortable. And they're the one in front of the camera. They're giving me the content. They know more about this than I do. I'm not a dental assistant. I'm not in the room. But at the end of the day, it's my responsibility to edit that video, make sure the sound is good, make sure my employee doesn't look stupid and doesn't, that I edit out the ums and uhs and, oh, wait, can I start over? And then it's my responsibility to post it. But I have a lot of help from my staff.
Makes sense.
Team effort.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. What if, I'm just thinking like, our listeners are, I think, heavy on like the office managers, right? So I'm just thinking, okay, if we have an office manager who's listening to this and they're like, yes, I know we need to do all this. I can definitely do it. I want to start, doing this for our practice, but doctor's not so on board, right? Like, what would you recommend for helping to like track and prove some ROI for these office managers so they can say, I want to commit 2 hours of my week to doing some posts, making some content. Like, let's see how that, helps the office or whatever, so they can kind of start moving in that direction with their doctor's blessing, of course. But I think doctors, like any business owner, is numbers driven, and they always want to say, well, what are we getting out of this? If you take 2 hours away from treatment planning, how can I be sure that it's going to be worth it? So do you have any like recommendations or suggestions for somebody who might be in that kind of situation?
Absolutely. So, first of all, what the doctor wants and what the office manager wants, both of you have a mission to get a butt in the chair. So, you want to prove that you're getting a patient in here. The thing about internal marketing and community growth and culture is that you're not going to have numbers off the bat. I don't want to pretend that you are. It's a slow burn. I will say, anytime that a new patient calls, I would have your front desk tracking, how did you hear of us? I can't track that someone saw us on Instagram and came in, especially if they're not interacting with the post. You have to depend on that front desk phone call capturing that information of how they heard of you. You can track internal numbers. I have a book on analytics where you can track like your follower growth. You can track drives to your website. You can track how long people are interacting. The major indicator that I would use as success is not so much new patient growth. That's a big 50% of it. The other 50% is going to be patient retention. You're going to watch your attrition go down. When patients see you on their feed, on their Instagram, on their Facebook, all the time, 2, 3, 4 times a week, they form this kind of parasocial relationship with their providers. And they're seeing you much more than twice a year at their 6-month visit. So there is science and psychology behind patients are way more likely to cancel on a practice than they are a provider that they feel connected to, whether it's their doctor, whether it's their hygienist. You're going to have less no-shows because they feel connected to you, and you're going to have more patient loyalty, deeper patient loyalty. They're going to leave less for dumb reasons, like maybe you went fee-for-service and dropped their insurance. We're fee-for-service with every insurance, and our patients stay because of the relationship that they have with us. Another place that I would tell an office manager to watch it would be treatment acceptance. When you have a real relationship with your patient and they're not seeing you twice a year for half an hour or even, 5 minutes for a doctor's exam, it feels less like you're selling them treatment. They can get, how some patients get wary, you're just trying to make money. I don't really need that crown. And it feels more like this person cares about me. This person cares about the community, my kid's school, whatever. They're interested in helping me. It's more relationship based, and your treatment acceptance is going to show up. How I would sell it initially, what's the risk? This is so low cost. Most of this content is organic. You can put money behind meta ads if you desire to do that. If you don't want to do that and you're just building your social media and community presence to have a presence, what are you really risking? This is not costing you thousands of dollars a month. This is very affordable. I don't see why every office doesn't do it.
Literally listening to this, Jaclyn, like I'm not attached to an office anymore, but I'm hyped. Give me an office. I'm about to make all their social media content. I'm about to make sure they have relationships with their patients. I'm going to make it happen, and I'm going to do it all on Canva. I can do it.
You can do it. I will teach you how. And you know what's even, I would also tell her to sell it through culture. The loyalty your team has, it's fun. It's fun for them to make all these videos and make all these posts together. I'm not insinuating that you have to post yourself dancing on TikTok once a week. That's crazy. If that's not your vibe, don't do that. But just the fun that they have. And we've had so much success celebrating a team member when something happens, when a hygienist or an assistant gets a new certification. And we post it on Facebook and like, oh, look what Hannah did. Yay for Hannah. Everyone help us congratulate Hannah. The patients are so excited to be a part of that. Hannah is elated and feels appreciated because you've noticed her, you've featured her. She goes home, shares that on her personal page. All of her friends and family members go, oh, wow, look how nice Hannah's boss is treating her. That looks like a great place to go. That looks like a great place to work. We've had assistants and hygienists find us and say in their job interviews, oh, I've seen your social profiles. It looks like such a fun place to work. I had to apply.
I like that. Yeah.
So it's really multifaceted and it's so cheap.
I kind of want to focus on that part, which is offices that are, I always like to say when patients are coming in for treatment, I'm like, yes, you can choose option C, which is nothing. But when offices are doing option C, nothing for marketing, why not just try this? I just want to like nudge people towards that. I also kind of, the most popular dental offices that I am seeing on social media aren't putting out like fancy Canva graphics, much to my dismay, but they're all reels and short little blurbs and things like that. So you don't need a graphic designer on your team.
No.
You just need someone to, capture like authentic content. I am a firm believer that there's really no competition when there's no one like you out there. So if you can get your patients and, like you said, potential hires to see that, you're doing something different. That's for sure.
And I will tell you, patients are not looking for perfection. I think everything that is a quote unquote perfect post looks like a stock photo. Or it is a stock photo. It doesn't look real. They're looking for the 20-second video that your doctor took of himself at the bleachers of his son's soccer game going, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell all you. Guess what new service we're introducing on Monday?
Mouth guards.
There you go. It's so much more relatable. And if your doc is stuck in old school marketing, like let's say that you're still sending out, mailer postcards to all the neighborhoods around you, I would say for 3 months, let's pause that postcard budget and let's put it into community and digital marketing and let's see what happens.
I think people, just as humans, are sort of longing for connection.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what patients are looking for. They're looking for someone who seems real to them. So the doctors chatting, the staff chatting, and them finding a connection in something that you post is what's going to bring them in.
Yeah. Where we've seen a huge difference is patients that are straight up scared of the dentist. They have really high dental anxiety. It is scary to walk into a place where you don't know anybody. You've not been in the building before. You don't know where to park. I have that little panic every time that I go to a restaurant that's new. Like, I don't know where to park. I don't know where the bathroom is,
I was just going to say that, Jaclyn. Like, I don't even have dental anxiety, but I have this anxiety about everywhere that I go.
It's a new place. It's a new person. Are they going to be kind to me? And then you're put in this incredible, vulnerable position of like, I'm going to lie back in a chair. You're hovering over me. Your hands are in my mouth. I can't talk. It's an uncomfortable experience. But if they, the night before their appointment, can look through your Instagram and then they come in the next day and go, oh yeah, he's not too scary. I saw that funny video he did on Halloween with the vampire fangs. Or, oh yeah, no, I recognize my hygienist. She did a little video about what her favorite movie popcorn is. Little tiny things, but that patient is walking in less scared, more comfortable, more prone to accept treatment and recommendations, even if it's as small as like, hey, I noticed, that you could probably use some fluoride varnish. It's $40. It's not covered by your insurance. They don't feel like you're ripping them off. They feel like, oh, I've seen this person. I've heard her speak. I believe she has my best interest at heart. Let's go ahead and do the varnish.
I wanted to ask you, I've seen the topic of ground marketing come up quite a bit lately on Facebook. I think people are trying to, I don't know, get scrappy, kick it old school, do something different. And I think something different right now kind of is ground marketing. What are some creative ideas that you have for practices to do some ground marketing?
Sure. I think it's a approach that never goes out of style. I don't think your community ever gets tired of you being a part of it. And there are very standard things like there's a women's shelter in our community that we support a couple times a year. We always drop off school supplies for them. We always do a coat drive in the winter, and we adopt a family at Christmas. And we just really love working with them. Like I said, we're going through a campaign right now so I'll get frank with some numbers for office managers that love numbers. I just dropped off boxed lunches from Chick-fil-A to an elementary school down the street from us. I picked up 60 lunches. The whole order, I want to say, was $600. I went to the school. I dropped them off for all the teachers. I dropped off our business cards. The teachers are like, oh, this is great. One of them was a little skeptical. She was like, oh, what are you going to sit and talk about today? Like a lunch and learn. And I was like, nope, you don't even have to listen to me yap. We just wanted to bring you lunch. We respect what teachers do. We think you guys are important. Here are some business cards. So that's 60 lunches. If we get 2 of those teachers as new patients from that school, not to mention their husbands and their kids, that campaign paid for itself. And it's goodwill in the community. It's so affordable. I don't know why you wouldn't do it. The only thing I would caution against that I sometimes see practices do is try to insert themselves in everything. I would pick like 3 or 4 great causes throughout the year, maybe quarterly. You do a campaign or you sponsor something, but don't try to bring lunches to all the nurses at the hospital. That's astronomical. You won't accomplish it. Pick and choose.
Okay. I like it. Okay. So I just want to touch upon just some key takeaways here for practices. The biggest one for me really is marketing does not need to be expensive or complicated. And I think that's a solution that you are, without a doubt, solving here.
Yes. And I would say that I think dentistry as a whole is pretty far behind with this idea. If you think of like travel, retail, hospitals, food and beverage, they all have someone on their team that's responsible for their brand. They're responsible for containing Google reviews. They're responsible for campaigning. I know dentistry can be more mom and pop, obviously, than a hospital, but I think we're really behind on having someone on your team who is looking out for your reputation in the community, not just in a reactive way, but in a proactive way.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. We're behind the curve with a lot of things.
Yeah. On par with that. Uh-huh.
All right.
So many dentists I get the premise. I get a dentist that spent $600,000 in dental school and bought a practice and is in more debt and is like, oh my God, I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to make TikToks. Now I have to do this too. And it's like, you don't. I know you're busy. I know you're treating patients. Give your office manager 30 seconds once a week, appear in some pictures or reels. Otherwise, it does not have to be your responsibility. We can handle this for you.
Yeah, I think my
And-
key takeaway is like how much marketing impacts things besides new patients walking in the door. Because I think
Yes.
that is what everybody correlates it to is like, oh, we're going to pay for this billboard or we're going to pay for this, whatever. And then we better see XYZ number of new patients walking through that door. And if we don't, then that wasn't worth it. But it really is so much broader than just the new patients coming in the door. I think of that like old school analogy I always heard in the dental office, which is like, you leave your front door open, but you can't leave the back door wide open either, because then patients are just leaving out the back door. I mean, this is, exactly that. Like, you have to pay attention to the patients you do already have.
And community is a slow burn, like I said, but you have to think of like, I give this example. We had a client that was a pediatric office. I would recommend that they start showing up in the Facebook mom groups, because there is always a mom that's like, oh, Tanner needs braces and I don't know where to go. Can you guys recommend anyone? Or I just moved to the area and I need to establish with the dentist for my 4 kids. Look, you're going to be the only dentist that's there. And you're the only one with an opportunity to say like, oh, you know what's crazy? We have a deal right now on consultations for braces. Why don't you bring Tanner in? You're the only, that's all your market. You're the only person that's going to be there.
Yep.
The Facebook mom groups are huge in our area too. And one of our doctor's wives is in there and she's like always tagging us and stuff. And we get so many new patients from her.
And you know what? You could do that from the front desk. You can check patients in and go over treatment plans and have a tab that's open on Facebook and be periodically
just cruise
checking
around.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
This doesn't have to take your whole day. Open it in the morning, leave it open, jump on when you can. It's free. No one's charging you to be on Facebook. And you could get, 10 patients from in a month.
I also wanted to say how for startups, Sarah and I have worked with a fair amount of startups in the billing space, and we kind of see how scrappy they are to start out. And obviously they are all looking to grow and get new clients. And I mean specifically a startup, like not an acquisition. They're starting from like ground zero. And you don't have a huge budget for marketing. I think this is way more authentic and probably will drive more results than some stale marketing company content that you're going to get by hiring an agency. One of my favorite social media accounts to follow is a pediatric dentist whom is a client, but was a client when I owned my billing company too. And I love the content she puts out there. It's always her. It's always her team. It's her chatting about pediatric dentistry and home care and what's going on in the office. And I love it. I love her stuff.
So successful. And for a startup, I think we're an amazing program, not only because you're going to understand how to get in front of your community and stand out, but also because if you're just starting with your team and your staff, building these internal systems for marketing off the bat, rather than trying to implement it, 25 or 30 years in, when your owner's kind of like, nope, this is how we've always done it and it's working just fine. Build these internal systems early. And I'm really excited you brought up the affordability. I have breaking news that I'm going to announce on your podcast today. That's a surprise for you. So our program has a free trial, which is currently on the website. And then the only other option was a $520 a month package that got you all the materials. It also got you one-on-one coaching with me. Not everybody likes that. Not everybody needs that. So we are in process right now of announcing a middle tier. That'll be $199 a month. You will still get access to all the books, courses, and materials for practices that are on a budget or practices that are do-it-yourselfers. We wanted it to be accessible to everybody. So that's one new patient a month. One new patient a month pays for our program.
Wow. That is so awesome and so exciting. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, surprise.
Right. I'm glad we got to be the mouthpiece for this. This is great.
Yeah, we're excited about it. I think it's a great deal. I mean, $200, our comp exams, if we do comp pano and bite wings, it's like $310.
For real.
So really, for the cost of less than one new patient a month, it's a steal.
Not even that. I'm just thinking about how many offices I know that are like, come be a new patient. We'll just not charge you for your first appointment. Like if you're willing to just write off the whole first appointment, then yeah, consider this alternative instead.
I'm going to use that in my marketing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but really.
We are going to have all the info for Clever Dental Co. in the show notes, obviously. But so for people looking to get started with you, you have your free 30-day trial with 5 courses, which is awesome. Okay, so now we're just talking like completely risk-free.
Yes. Now, when you do the free trial, you do not have access to all of the supplemental materials.
Mm-hmm.
But you do get to go through the first few courses and kind of get a feel if this is something that you can do. But I will say that the juicy courses are behind the paywall.
As they should be.
Exactly. Nobody's going to judge you for that at all.
But it's very affordable. It's very sustainable. I don't see the harm in trying it out for your practice.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, thinking of all the third-party softwares and this, that, and the other thing that offices, sign up for that maybe aren't getting them that much ROI. And this seems, perfectly in the realm of what people are paying for other things and definitely more beneficial for them in the long run.
Yeah, if you're paying for like a bird's eye that's looking for getting you Google reviews and how to respond to that, but instead, for less money, you have a staff member who can handle that for you and then has 28 other courses. It's worth the money.
Yeah. I said, I'm still hyped. I'm still going to go out. I need to go market myself and be like, all right, what office wants me to start taking over their social media? Because I'm on it.
That's a great idea.
Well, again, I mean, this is so unique and needed, and I really want offices to think about utilizing your platform here and taking things back in-house. I feel like that is going to produce the most authenticity and results that they're wanting to. So
yeah, and to
better content for less money.
Yeah, and to feel like empowered. Like, I think this is a very scary topic for a lot of offices, or it's scary or it's overwhelming to the point where they're like, oh, we just don't even do that. We don't have the energy for that. We can't focus on that. We're never going to be able to compete with Dr. Joe down the street. But this is totally doable for any office, any size, and it could really make a substantial difference in their business. So I hope they feel empowered and excited after listening too.
Well, you guys have just been the best. You're really great cheerleaders. I really appreciate it.
Well, you know what I was just thinking? I also think that the day-to-day, especially like at the front office, can get a little mundane, right? It's very repetitive. You do the same thing all day. I think that some team members might find this fun. It's different. It's something they haven't done before. It's ever evolving. And I think just a little change of pace can make things a little bit more exciting. So
yeah, it definitely brings joy. It brings joy to the people that are responsible for it, and it brings joy to the people that are participating in it. And even I have some staff here who are very camera shy. They don't ever want to be in my videos. They're uncomfortable. That's fine. But they get joy out of seeing, like, we did one video where I ordered crazy things off of Amazon for the doctors to try, like that kit where you can replace your missing tooth with like some goop, basically.
Yeah.
Or like Amazon veneers. There were veneers for sale on Amazon for $19.99.
Yes, I've seen those.
So I bought a couple of those.
I want to do this.
Oh God, so funny. And I brought them into my doctors, and I was like, hey, let me know what you think of these snap-on veneers. And even people that don't want to participate necessarily, get such joy out of watching their doctors let loose a little bit and be a little goofy and silly. It's fun for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh.
I want to do that off camera too. I mean, that would just be fun.
No, Amanda, if we're gonna do that, which we could do that for our
gonna
next
be on
episode,
camera.
It's definitely gonna be on camera. Exactly. We're not missing this marketing opportunity for ourselves.
No, that's good content. You better film it.
Exactly.
Bring these to the holiday party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That will be our little
$19.99.
entertainment.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, that would be hilarious. You should do that, Amanda.
We always do like is it called a white elephant swap thing? We always that's what's my gift is going to be. That's going in there.
Hopefully nobody at the office is listening, so they don't know it's her.
Guess what you're all about to get for Christmas?
Well, Jaclyn, thank you so much for taking the time to come on our podcast today. And again, we'll have everything down in the show notes for people to find you. And to all of our listeners, we will catch you on the next episode.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.